So, it's the big one. It is WrestleMania time. And is this the best build to a WrestleMania in quite some time? I think it is. I think this is probably one of the best Manias in recent time. Or at least best builds. We don't know about how good it's actually going to be as a Mania yet. But it's looking good, the card's looking good, and we are going to go night by night, and I'm going to try and see if I can get every single match correct. It's going to be a tough one. I don't think I've ever clean swept a WrestleMania, nor should I really ever actually do it. Should be a little bit unpredictable, but we're going to see. We're going to see, and I am going to ask a question, or at least try and answer a question as like an extra prediction, but let's just get on with it. So, I'm using Bleacher Report for this, so if things are a little bit off, I do apologize, but this is what I could find in terms of what actual structure is for each night. So, night 1, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. This one's an interesting one, because it very much felt like they didn't have Dominic on the card and needed to give him something to do. And for that reason, I'm questioning whether or not he and Santos are going to win. Really all depends on where it's placed on the card. I don't see it being the opener. I think I know what will be the opener. If I had to make a guess, I think I know what it would be. And we'll get onto that in a second. I'm going to go with Santos and Dominic, I think, to pick up the win in that match. It's going to bite me in the arse, I know it will, but it is what it is. Then we have Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill taking on Damage Control. This is Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill all the way. It's Jade Cargill's first match that isn't the Rumble, and it's at Mania. Bianca's undefeated at Mania. I just don't see any of that changing. I think Jade, Naomi, and Bianca, they're going to pick up the win. So this is what I think is going to be the opener for night 1. The 6-pack ladder match for the tag titles, which is, I think they said a rule, which is now like, say, your one team takes down the Raw Tag Team Championship instead of Raw Tag Team Champions. So that's going to be interesting. This is going to make the predictions even a little bit trickier. We got Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, New Day, New Catch Republic, and A-Town Down Under. See, my brain is saying that there's going to be a spot with R-Truth where he takes down one of the Raw and one of the SmackDown tag titles, and they're going to be like, Truth, you can't do that. That's not how this works. It's like, I'm the tag champions. We did it. And they're like, no, you've got one of each belt, and then he has to like put them back up and then gets taken out before he can unhook one of the other belts. I'll tell you what, I think DIY are going to get the Raw tag titles, and I think A-Town Down Under are going to get the SmackDown tag titles. I think that's what's going to happen. Then it's Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Now, I've heard a lot of people talking about how we need to get one of them with a different moveset, and I completely agree with that mindset. We really need one of them to bring something new to the table. That being said, that's not the prediction. The prediction is pretty obvious. Jey Uso. I think they're building Jey Uso up to something. I still think he's probably the one to beat Gunther. I know people want it to be Chad Gable, but I do think that if Jey picks up the win there, he's either like the first challenger for Drew, or he's the one to dethrone Gunther. And then the Drew stuff, that's a spoiler for later on. And speaking of Gunther, there's another spoiler. The Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Gunther. I don't know how you can predict otherwise. I love Sami Zayn. I think he's incredible, but I think Gunther just needs to hold that belt for longer. I just think he's the guy. And this is where things get very interesting. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. I'm gonna say Rhea Ripley. I've spoken before about how I agreed with a take where Rhea should hold the belt for another year, maybe even longer. Until they build somebody up to take the belt, I don't think Rhea should lose. I don't see Becky as the one to do it, personally. And yeah, I just think Rhea Ripley is the best fit for the Women's World Championship. And then, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I think there's some rule where it's, if The Rock and Roman win, it's bloodline rules. If Cody and Seth win, it's bloodline are banned from ringside. So you give it to The Rock and Roman. You want that main event of night 2 to be the biggest moment possible. Well, then you gotta give the win at night 1 to The Rock and Roman. And I think I'm gonna throw out a bold prediction here. I think The Rock pins Cody Rhodes. Doesn't have to be clean, nor really should it be clean. But The Rock pins Cody Rhodes. Alright, night 2. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's I believe it's a Philly street fight. I'm gonna give that to Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I think this is probably your opening match of the night, and quite frankly, I don't see any other option than building up Lashley and the Street Profits, especially if A-Town Down Under do pick SmackDown Tag Team Championships up. I think then you move the Street Profits over to those Tag Team Championships. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This is really weird because this should be a match where I'm really hyped for it, but I'm just not feeling it. It's annoying because AJ Styles is like one of my favorite wrestlers, and LA Knight's one of my favorite current wrestlers. It's rough. I'm probably going to give it to LA Knight. I think that's probably how it's going to go. Not really much else to say about that. The United States Championship Triple Threat. Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I really want to say Kevin. Or Orton. But it's going to be Logan Paul, everybody. Oh, God. No, Logan Paul's retaining. Logan Paul's retaining. Oh, Jesus. This is going to be like the one where everyone's like, no, you are absolutely wrong. But I'm going to, like I said, for Punk at the Rumble, and it didn't happen, I'm standing my ground. And I am going to say that Logan Paul is going to retain. And I think he pins Kevin Owens. I think that's the reason why Kevin Owens is in there, so that Logan Paul can have a win over Randy Orton without Orton getting pinned to lose the match. I think that's what they're probably doing. For the Women's Championship, again, I saw someone say this, and I completely agree. They need to rebrand one of the belts, because you've got the Women's World and then the Women's. And I know it's just one word, but, like, it's still a little bit confusing. Maybe you do call one of them the Women's Universal Championship. I don't know anymore. But anyway, Io, Sky, Bayley, you guys, the people who have watched the channel, know that I think that this should be the main event of night 1. I really do think that it should be, but it's not, so we move. I think Bayley is going to win. I think Bayley is going to win because, you know, somebody's got to finish a story, and I think Cody might do it. I think somebody else is going to do it, which we'll talk about in a second. But Bayley also needs to finish her story. And I think if Damage Control lose night 1, I think the momentum shifts and Bayley's able to get it done night 2. Then we have the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. And I know everybody hates this match. Absolutely nobody has gone back on their ideas of Drew shouldn't win the Elimination Chamber and Drew shouldn't have another match against Seth. Anybody, I saw you guys in the comments, I'm telling you, I saw you all in the comments being like, Drew shouldn't get another shot at the belt. Well, there he is. And he's got another shot at the belt. And he's going to win. Because of course he is. I think Seth has had a fantastic run as champion, but Drew's getting it done. Drew is winning the belt, especially seeing as Clash at the Castle is going to be in Scotland, June 15th, which is my birthday. I'd love to be able to go, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. But I really, really wish I could. But Drew's winning. Drew's winning. And I think Seth might need to take a little bit of time off. He's had so many injuries recently that I think it might be worth him just having a little bit of time off and then come back and maybe turn heel on Cody. And then the main event, for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and because of my predictions, Bloodline rules. This is where the Avengers Assemble stuff comes into play. I've heard so many people talking about it, and I think that it happens. I think the Avengers do in fact assemble, and they help Cody Rhodes finish the story and become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, which is a mouthful to say. Just call it the WWE Championship. Come on. It's not that difficult. Or just call it the undisputed WWE Championship. You don't have to add the Universal. But no, I think Cody Rhodes is finally finishing the story. He should have done it last year, to be completely honest with you. But, you know what, 1 year after, you know, having to wait a year isn't that bad. Right? Guys? But yeah, no, Cody's finishing the story. And yeah, that's the WrestleMania prediction. So, you know, I guess there's one more question, which is, does Damian Priest cash in? If WWE want to be the biggest dicks in existence, then they have Cody Rhodes beat Roman, and then Damian Priest cashes in and beats Cody in like 10 seconds. So now Cody has technically finished the story, but that story, that finale, lasted 10 seconds. If WWE want to extend the story stuff for another year and have Cody win Money in the... Well, it wouldn't even be a year. He'd probably win Money in the Bank and then probably win the belt at SummerSlam off of Priest, maybe even earlier, maybe at Money in the Bank, I don't know. Then, yeah, you could absolutely do that. But I don't see Priest cashing in. If he does... Oh god, and he cashes on Cody. I'm sorry for putting that out into the world. But, yeah. And, because of the shirt I'm wearing, you know, got that Austin 316. Does Stone Cold show up? Maybe. I wouldn't bet on a Stone Cold show up, but if he does, that'd be brilliant. But yeah, those are the WrestleMania predictions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking in terms of predictions for WrestleMania. And, yeah,